Hello, this is Irene with SaugaTalks. Hello, everyone. I speak weekly with fascinating people in tech, so please follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Twitcher even, because we live streaming these days with my co-host, Brian Thomas from Corazon Technology. So we're collaborating here to bring knowledge and wisdoms from our guests to the audiences. So hello, everyone. And today I'm extremely privileged because here with me is Tim Hughes. Tim, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Irene. I'm really excited to be here. I've been wanting to be interviewed by you for ages.
Oh, this is so flattering. Thank you. I appreciate
Well, of course, you're all over the place. There's a big queue. Outside our house, there's a big queue to be interviewed by you, Irene.
This is amazing to hear. You made my day right here, right now, Tim. Right? I'm following you on Twitter and I see your videos and I see your blog posts. And I am mainly speaking with entrepreneurs, with influencers in tech. But what we all want to know about, we all know that it starts with the idea. It's going into product. It's going into business, and entrepreneur spending their lifetime building those businesses. The conversation I want to have today with you, Tim, is that how do you come to your customers? Where do you start selling? Or many entrepreneurs don't like the word selling at all. At all. They say, I'm not selling anything. I'm just building my dream. So where do you think we stand in this simple terminology? Because I know you have a lot to offer in terms of the expertise around social selling these days.
Yeah, I don't think that people are. I think that people actually don't like to be sold to. And if you think about what's happened in the past, you would go to some networking event and you would go and have conversations with people. You wouldn't go up to people at a networking event and say, buy my product because it's great and we've got 30% off, because people would just phone security and have you removed. So I don't know why do people suddenly think that they should do that on the social network? And in fact, we know from our research, partly because you can ask anybody and say, do you like anybody coming to you on LinkedIn and pitching to you? And everybody says no. But the problem that people have is that they don't know what to do on social. They know it's very easy. Cold calling's been around since 1980, so it's 40 years old. They know if someone says, right, there's your phone, start phoning people, they know what to do. Then in the 1990s, we had email marketing. And so if you said, right, here's your email, go and start sending emails to people know what to do. But when they come to social, they don't know what to do. And then what they do is they treat it as if it's what we're going to do is we're just going to cold call people on LinkedIn. And of course, it doesn't work. And I've just received, someone just left a comment on one of my posts. They said that they did some research and they say that most people say they don't get anything out of social. And I responded and said the reason why they don't is because they don't know what to do and they don't know how to act and they don't know what they should be doing on social.
You know what? Let's start somewhere, because I loved your blog posts about traditional selling, classical, old way selling, right? And modern social selling. Can we make this comparison in some form? Because we all can relate to the older models, but not everyone is comfortable with new one.
Yeah, I think the pandemic has changed an awful lot. We've all moved online. Before the pandemic, we as a business, we help people sell on social, and I think quite often we were trying to still convince people that their buyer was online. Now we don't get any of those discussions at all. Everybody knows that everyone's shifted. Even my 83-year-old mother runs her wine groups online. And there was a big battle about how on earth were we going to do wine groups, and they found a way. And we were told churches, doctors, piano lessons. My partners did all their tap dancing lessons over Zoom while we were under lockdown. And it was everybody said, you can't do it. It's got to be done face to face. And that's all been thrown in the bin. So we've now all moved online. So our buyers are online. So how are we going to attract them? And we don't attract them by saying, hey, look at me. I've got some products for you to sell. Come and buy it. That didn't work in the face-to-face time. It doesn't work on social. So we have to actually understand the psychology of the modern buyer, and the modern buyer has changed. They're empowered. They've all got one of these. You talk to people and say, they can actually go and look for your products and services online, and they don't need to talk to you. When I first went in sales, the only way that I was selling payroll systems, and the only way that you could buy my payroll system was to come to me and say, "Can you tell me about it?" There was nothing online. Now, if you sit down, I can sit down with my partner and say, "Let's go to Iceland next weekend." Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, you look at the flights, and I'll look at the Airbnb and the hotels, and we'll look at and we can just do that online, and nobody knows that we're actually making those buying decisions. We may not buy anything, but the thing is that people online, they're looking for your products and services, and if you're not visible on social, you're invisible. You talked to me before we started saying you've got lots of blogs. Yes, because the reason why I have lots of blogs is the fact that people are looking for content, looking for insight, and they're looking to be educated. So the whole point of creating content is to put that out there and for people to find it and go, that looks interesting. When it comes to doing social selling, I'll give Tim Hughes a call, or I'll contact him. So that's the one of the differences that we're seeing between the legacy selling, which was very much about one-way conversation where you pitch at someone, and the modern selling, which is about having conversations, providing insight, providing education.
Absolutely, Tim. It's easy to say, okay, because I met a lot of salespeople in my career, okay? I'm still talking to a lot of them, meaning that we build something like relationship, right? What you're talking about, right? So we're humans, and we like to talk to other humans. And that's where conversations start. That's where relationship and future
yes,
sales start.
We're social animals, and the great thing about social media is it enables us to create relationships at scale. I quite often hear people talking about relationships as if it's something that's going to take 6 months or 18 months. It doesn't. The way that we're now used to working on social is that we can have, if you like someone's post, you already have a connection with them. When I've seen your podcasts, I've seen your podcast because I see you all the time. It's a bit like seeing somebody on the TV in a soap opera or something like that. There's a famous soap opera star who lives near me, and I see him in the street, and of course, because I've seen him on the TV a lot, I think I know him, but he looks at me and goes, "Who's that?" But he's obviously used to it. But because I've seen your podcasts, when I came and actually we had a conversation, a prep call before we talked about this, I already felt that I knew you, and I trusted you, and I liked you, and all of those things, and those relationships can actually be built fast and at scale by creating content, by having a wide and varied network, by being seen, by being visible. And what happens is that most organizations nowadays are on social. We talk about digital dominance, and that's about, your client is asking questions. They have business problems. They need to be solved. And you as an organization and you as individuals can actually become digitally dominant. So that what happens is that you completely wipe out the whole of your competition because they're still analog. And they're still, worrying about whether they should be posting this or that, or whether they should be posting corporate content, which is all crap. You can be, and your organization completely wipe out. We have a drones company as a client, Cyberhawk. You can check them out, and they are just all over social. And they've had drone companies ring them up saying, "You're all over social. Come out to California and test out our drones." And they've had, they're getting so much inbound. They're getting into accounts that they never, ever dreamed that they could get into, purely because they're on social and they're visible. And it is purely transformational. I mean, there's so many people that play with it, but you can actually change the game with social. It's amazing.
This is fantastic success story you just mentioned, because there's still a lot of skeptics out there. I'm as a content creator, I know it's not easy to create content. Okay, it takes effort, it takes energy, it takes money. Okay, so many organizations, when they're prioritizing, they really think this of around marketing. They don't understand that this is selling.
I think in the past there was a view that it needed to take it took money. The thing is that you empower your employees. The problem that companies have is that they think that they have to go to the market with branded content, and unfortunately, everybody's branded content says the same. It says buy our product because we're great. And so if you take a lot of companies, Oracle, SAP, Sage, all of their content says exactly the same thing. If you look at IBM's content, McKinsey's content, KPMG, it's exactly the same. I mean, you're an ex-IBMer. It's they only have 500,000 followers on Twitter. They have 300,000 employees. You think about their employees, their customers. Actually, if you think about 500,000 followers for them, it's nobody. And the reason why no one's interested in what IBM say is IBM says, buy our product because it's great. And if you look at, and the great thing about social media is everything is transparent. So if IBM posts something, all of us can go in and see who's liking it. You can see the engagement, who's liking it. The people that like it are all IBM employees. They're not creating content that actually other people want to see and read because it says IBM is great. And well, yeah, kind of. If I worked there, I probably would think that. But I don't think. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for insight. I'm looking for something you're going to tell me something that I don't know. Now, what we have is we have our employees. The only thing today that we have that differentiates us as a business is our employees, their experience, their track records, their knowledge. All of those things are unique to the organization. And what we need to do is empower those people to talk on social in an authentic voice, using their own experiences and talking about those things. We do that ourselves. If you look at anything from DLA Ignite, you can see that all of us post, and we all post every single day. We don't have content writers. We don't have, I'm a small business. We have 15 people globally. So how is it that I've got 180,000 followers on Twitter, and how is that I've been able to build that without the resources of IBM? Because people are looking for insight and people are looking for the knowledge and the experience of your employees. And it's so powerful to empower that. Obviously there's a control issue, but that's about, when we teach people about diversity and inclusion and things like health and safety, we teach them what to do. The same as with social media. We need to teach them what to do. But once you empower them, it is so powerful.
This is fantastic. You know what? This is enormously helpful to me as a small business. I will carry this message forward because it sounds simple, but it's nice to be reminded, team. It's extremely.
This is a great piece of content. You know what? I run a podcast, and I run a podcast because it enables me to meet interesting people like you. But it also means that I can go to CEOs in organizations and say, would you like to come on my podcast? So if we have a target organization and you go to the CEO and go, would you like to come on my podcast? They always say yes. And it's like, why wouldn't every salesperson run a podcast? Because you can get so much higher faster. You can go to their PA and say, would you like to come on? I'm a podcaster. And I like the fact that you're a salesperson, you want, and you have an opportunity to meet these people and talk with these people. It's a great way of, but you've got to empower your employees to be able to do this. But you can get, if creating content, you will be transformational and you can dominate the whole of the market.
Amazing. Simply amazing, team. Again, it reminded me why I started doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm the good use case because frankly, that was my digital transformation, learning all the new technology,
yes.
Understanding what I need to do, right? Speaking to people and enjoying the process. There got to be authenticity in it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think, I remember, I tell people this and they think I'm 1,000 years old, but I remember getting a 386 PC and being given AMI Pro word processor and Lotus 123. And there were other people in the sales team that said, I'm sorry, I don't type. We have a sales administrator. And 25% of the sales force basically resigned and went to a company where they didn't have to type. Now, most people you explain that today, they say everyone types, don't they? Yeah, we do. But there was a time when people didn't. And what happens is that there's always technology that comes along where you have to embrace it to move forward. And there's a whole bunch of things that as salespeople we have to embrace. We have to embrace the use of video. We have to embrace the use of live streaming like this. And we have to embrace, I could keep going on about the skills that the modern seller needs to have, because there's an expectation actually from the buyer that you would be able to do those things, or the buyer, you can't keep writing blogs. So you have to do live streams, you have to do face-to-face video, you have to mix up your content. But you have to have those skills as a modern seller and a modern marketer.
Absolutely. Let's talk about B2B, because these are two different worlds, right? When targeting consumers versus targeting large organizations and many decision makers in those organizations. So where do you think the salespeople, marketing people should start, in a way that which platforms you think are most effective?
Well, most of my work is in business to business. We do have BMW as a client, but it's actually quite business to business in the way they work, because it's a considered purchase. Business to consumer, generally you would see as a pair of shoes or something you buy. And generally we see it as that in business to consumer, you don't know the name of the salesperson, but in business to business, you do. So if you go to BMW or Audi, you'll probably know the name of the person that you're buying from. And you really need to go to you need to go to where your clients are. So BMW do an awful lot of work on LinkedIn because their clients are on LinkedIn. We were tagged in the post actually last week from the managing director of BMW Park Lane, because he had a great example of social selling. And in fact, I've advised people like who pre-COVID, when you could go on holiday and you could go skiing or something, people like ski chalets. I said, your clients are on LinkedIn. They were going, well, what, don't we need to do TikTok videos? I said, unlikely, but your clients are on LinkedIn, so go to LinkedIn. So you need to go to where your clients are. And if you think they're using TikTok or Clubhouse, then you need to be on there, and you need to build the skills and understand how to use them. But don't forget, with any skill that you use, you'll probably carry on using it. For example, Gary Vee put a lot of time and effort into Snapchat, only he didn't really see there being a business benefit to it. But he said that the skills that he learned on Snapchat, which are about creating video, he's then carried on and used in things like Instagram and TikTok. So whenever you're investing in the skill set for yourself. For example, I've done a lot of Clubhouse, but I've now pulled off it. But I learned an awful lot in terms of what audio-based social networks, in terms of Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, and what that can give, and I can then give people advice on it. But really, our client base is on LinkedIn, and we've actually moved, and we're now doing a live stream on Fridays. We're using Restream rather than StreamYard, but we actually see this as better for our clients than actually Clubhouse, which is interesting, but an awful lot of effort for the return that you get.
This is a fantastic point you're making, Tim, because we all kind of like the new shiny toys, and we were all fascinated by Clubhouse because we all tried it. We saw what's going on, right? We wanted to be part of it to some degree, but you're absolutely right. You have to make, as a business, you have to make a decision where to invest your time, first of all, right? So what do you think is going to work going forward, in a way that there is another platform popping up, I'm sure there now, right, that we're going to hear about? So where is this consideration for you as a business, and what do you recommend to your clients?
I think you have to, the key thing about social media going forward is you have to experiment, and you have to recognize that when you experiment, that means that you can fail, or you experiment and you say that actually isn't right. You know, you constantly need to be. We explain to people that every single key depression that you're putting on the keyboard on social, you have to see that there's a connection to revenue and profit. If you don't see that if you don't see an outcome in terms of business, you probably shouldn't be doing it, or you're doing it wrong. And so we put in, I think, about 3 months into Clubhouse. We really understood it. We went from rooms and we collected, you know, did all the things that we needed to do. And then we just every 2 or 3 weeks, we have a call every Monday where the team get together and we share things and discuss things. And every 2 or 3 weeks we said, so we should be into Clubhouse, and yeah. And then we about 3 months in, sorry, we just said, this is too much for us, and actually we're going to try something else, which is why we've moved to the Restream, and we're currently experimenting with that. So I'm running something called the Digital Download, which is every Fridays at 2 o'clock UK time, which is 9 a.m. US East Coast. And we just get on, and there's 6 of us. We get on and we talk about what we've learned in the week. And I'm running that until the end of July, and we'll see what happens. One on my team, he's actually running a breakfast show. So he's actually taking the Restream environment, and he's always wanted to be a breakfast show DJ. So what he's actually doing, he's calling it the Breakfast Burrito. He runs it at it's a 7:30 to 8:30 on UK time on Thursdays, and it's like a zoo radio show where he gets mystery guests in who talk for 10 minutes and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, it's about pushing forward the boundaries and innovating. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, the great thing about social is there will always be another big thing, and we'll constantly be evolving. So, but it's great fun.
Absolutely, you're mentioning fun, and with that, you know, you just reminded me of something else. So the social gives us opportunity to be creative in the areas that we pick for ourselves. So if you're a good blogger, absolutely blog yourself out. If you're good on video, right, just explore that side of you that you haven't maybe tried before. Okay, isn't it a good motivation factor, you think?
Yeah, I think the thing about social is that it enables us, it connects us to people, and it enables us to have conversations with people at scale. And that is a great opportunity for all of us. You know, when I first went on Twitter, I didn't ever see this, it was a way of making money. I went on Twitter 11 years ago thinking, well, I need to do something, and this is a new piece of technology and I need to understand it, just as much as I needed to start learning how to use a word processing system all those years ago. You know, I've actually made an awful lot of friends. I mean, you know, we have loads of mutual friends. We've never met them. But, you know, we would call them as friends. I mean, I'm connected to 1,000 people on Facebook, and I probably about 500 of them I know, and I would actually class as friends. And you know, if there was something wrong in their life, I would be there to support them. And having that ability to reach out is, you know, social media has changed the world. It's changed the way that we work, and it's changed society. I did an interview in my podcast today with Jeremy Scribbins, who is a Brit, but he lives in Melbourne, Australia. And he came across this thing which he calls social rooms, which is where he's enabling people to collaborate across the world to solve society issues. Now, this is a great way of, you know, we're not selling anything, but we're using social media as a way to collaborate across the world to change the world for the better. And, you know, younger people than me want to do this and want to be able to do this at scale. And I think this is brilliant. And if I can actually enable people and use my social media skills to do that, then that's a great legacy for me to leave as well. But yeah, social media has changed the world and will carry on changing the world. And there's a lot of negativity about social, but actually there's more good from social than bad. It's old people that keep thinking that social media is bad.
Exactly. And we're not gonna blame old people for being old. No, I'm kidding, because yeah, I'm not a
Well,
spring
I can
chicken
say that
myself.
because I'm an old person. I'm 1,000 years old.
Exactly. We can relate. We can relate, both of us. Yes. So with that, Tim, yeah, how about I'll probe you with this question. Everything takes time, right? Growing your business takes time. You have to be patient. You have to, right, kind of
Yes.
focus, refocus. So with social media, it takes time.
Maybe. If there's all three things that you need on social media. The first thing you need is a personal brand. Sounds very complicated. Actually, it's just about thinking about how do you want to present yourself on social media to your buyer. Now, LinkedIn isn't about being a CV. It's about this. It's your shop window. How do you want to present yourself? And if you go into your clients and think about the first 10 minutes that you have with clients where you think about ways of where you've got you're showing that there's something joint between you. But I've done some work with a waste management company, and the sales guy was saying, he said, "Oh, I've been in waste management for 20 years. There's nothing I don't know about getting rid of medical waste, whether it's syringes, whether it's PPE. I know all of those things." And I said, "So why isn't that on your LinkedIn profile?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Oh, well, of course, I don't know. But, it was all about other things." It's like, well, if you're such an expert on it, there's people out there that are looking for experts on it. So talk about it. The other thing is that what people are looking for is they're looking for human beings. They're not looking for corporate robots. So this idea that you have to be some sort of corporate, take off. This is not, LinkedIn isn't about shirt and tie and a suit. This is about having a polo shirt and talking about yourself. Talk about your journey. One of the questions I always ask people is, so what's your journey? And people will tell you, well, I used to be a personal assistant, and then I seemed to fall into marketing, and then then I was running events, and there was all these things, and everybody has a journey. Put it on your LinkedIn profile, because that's what shows that you're a human being. The second thing you need is a network, and you need to have a wide and as varied network as you can have it. And the reason for that is that what you're looking to do is actually that people need to find you. So you need to be connected. If you're a salesperson, you need to be connected to people in your target accounts. If you're not, you ain't going to sell into them. You need to be connected to influencers within the marketplace. You're an influencer, for example. I often tell people, say, find the influencers in your, if you're in fintech, you need to be connected to, Javier and you and, all of the fintech, so they know who you are. And the third thing you need is content. And content isn't a 2,000 word white paper, because nobody reads them. Content is a 300-word blog. So if I give you a 300-word blog, you'll read it. If I do a 2-minute video to my iPhone, you'll watch it. If you do a podcast, 30 minutes, if it looks interesting, you'll invest the time and you'll watch it. People are looking for insight. They're looking for looking to be educated. They're not looking for a corporate company to say, buy my product because it's great, because every company says it. And so those are the three things you need. Empower your team to do that, and make sure that you're, people of my age in leadership need to be leaving the legacy that they're actually empowering their team to work in this new way.
Cannot agree more, Tim. Again, cannot agree more. How about when you're talking about personal brand, we still carry that baggage of looking professional, and many people still don't let their authentic selves out in the professional environment. That's a big problem for corporate culture, I find.
Yes. Yeah, it's a strange one, which is that that if you to build relationships with people, we often have we put out personal content on LinkedIn, and we do that because it gets lots of engagement, and lots of engagement means that it actually gets us lots of leads and it gets us lots of business. And you'll get somebody saying, no, you can't do that on LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't Facebook. And you go, so where are the rules that it says this? And they say, well, then there aren't any rules. I said, so LinkedIn is about being social. And what we're doing is that we're being social. And what you'll find is that people are actually coming to social networks to learn about other people and to be social. We've actually done some research, and actually putting out corporate content is actually bad for your brand. It's and actually people don't like it, and actually it's, you know, people think I do that for my brand, it's about building brand. It doesn't build your brand, it actually destroys it. And the more that you empower people to spread more of your the more it destroys your brand. I know it and this is something that people still don't get about social. You know, what people want are if you look at the Endelman Trust report that came out, it shows a list of the people that people trust. Lawyers and estate agents, you call them realtors, like at the bottom, and salesmen are quite at the bottom as well. But at the top are technical experts. And the reason why people like technical experts is that they don't think that they're salespeople. So, and what they want them to do is they want them to talk about what they know, because it's only when you know something. If you listen to this, you may think that Tim Hughes is an idiot, which is fine. You may think that Tim Hughes actually knows what he's talking about, which is great. But then at that point, you will see me as an expert. And what we need to be doing, you know, I haven't talked about our company. I haven't talked about our products. I haven't talked about what we do. And I'm presenting myself as an expert, and people will buy into that or they won't. And what you need to be doing is getting your experts and getting your salespeople and your marketers to do the same, to show their expertise out online, because actually that's what people trust. And if you read an article and it needs to be 300 words, it takes you 3 minutes, and you see somebody and you go, that person's an expert. Next time when you're scrolling through your LinkedIn profile, oh, there's that bloke, Tim Hughes. Oh yeah, I saw that podcast. Oh yeah, it's a blog. Oh yeah, that's quite good as well. Oh, there's Tim Hughes again. Oh yeah, he's an expert. Then you're at a board meeting and someone says, do you think we should be social selling? And you'll go, oh, there's this guy on LinkedIn, Tim Hughes is his name or something. You should talk to him. He seems to know his stuff.
Lovely. This is fantastic. You know what? You made me rethink a few things when we're talking. So the simple conversation, okay, we often underestimate the conversation, because exactly, you're not pitching anything. You're just sharing what you know.
Yeah. And the thing about social selling is this. If I said to you, right, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive over to your house. And I'm going to drive you to a place where there are all your prospects in a room. So what you need to do, because you're in America, you're going to get a coffee. What you're going to do is get a coffee, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go and have conversations with those people. That is what LinkedIn is like. All you have to do is go and have conversations with people, and they will respond just as you would do it at a networking event. And it's as simple as that. Well, not quite, but.
Tim, this is deep, okay? This is deep. This talk deserves better reflection, you know, deeper thought that it sparkles. And this is exactly what we want to do here today. So in conscious of your time, few takeaways. I know we talked a lot. We talked about personal branding. We're talking about putting your authentic self out and not relying on corporate content, which is killing your brand, not building your brand. So few takeaways, if you could share, that people can take forward.
So I always recommend to people the three things, which are you need a personal brand, you need a network, and you need content. And it's you that needs to do this, because what we're selling is you, and what people are buying are you. Same as the example I said about the Tim Hughes, and then someone's going to talk in a meeting and say, we need to get Tim Hughes in. Now, that's one way of getting business. The other way is you just go out and you just have conversations and you just drop your knowledge on conversations on LinkedIn. And that's a proactive way of doing it. And again, you'll get people then coming and look at your LinkedIn profile. Oh, that person looks interesting. Oh, then you send a message. Oh, you looked at my LinkedIn profile. We obviously have something in common. Why don't we connect? And the whole thing is just, and a lot of people think that you can. A lot of people seem to think that cold calling is faster. You can get. We've done projects where we've gone up against, and they said, "Right, we're going to put you up against and benchmark you against cold calling," and we win. And Merrill Lynch has just come out and banned cold calling, and they've gone public and said that social selling has a better response than cold calling. We've been benchmarked against email marketing, and we win. And we've been benchmarked against advertising, and we win. And we're more than happy to be benchmarked, and we're more than happy to run a pilot, happy to be benchmarked, whatever, because that we always know that we win. And all those three things: personal brand, network, and your content.
Sounds simple. Thank you, Tim, so very much for this talk today. Thank you.
You're welcome.